other guy over here, Bobby Warmack, is my first quarterback I had at Oklahoma on the Wicked Worm. He won 2 Big 8 conference championships. We damn near won a national championship. And the one thing Bobby did to me that still pisses me off today when I think about it is that I got my hotel bill. You laugh your ass off about this. I'm my offensive coordinator. I'm making about $12,000 a year at Oklahoma. What do they make today? Old football coaches ought to get reparations, especially what they pay these damn head football coaches today. And what they paid me, I made $24,000 a year, 3-year contract. We went 30-1, 2 national championships. But anyway, Bobby is our quarterback, and we beat Tennessee's ass in the Orange Bowl. And I'm going back on the plane, and I get my bill from my room. And all of a sudden, I'm going down through my room bill, and there's a $4,000, now a lot of money now. I'm telling you, 1967, $4,000 is a hell of a lot of money. That's a fourth of my damn salary. And I look at that, I got a $4,000 bar bill. And Bobby Warmack is signed for every damn player. Oh, every player.
No, that's not right.
Yeah, it was too.
'Cause I didn't drink.
Well, you signed for them. That's what they thought they'd get away with. Anyway, I had that bill. Go ahead, Bob. Anyway, Bobby Warmack.
And I don't know how to follow up that, but I will say that Eddie and I were sophomores in 1966. And that really was the foundation of the program to be for like the next 20 years. And the reason why I say that is that Jim McKenzie was the head coach. It was a year of change, really, 1966. Jim McKenzie comes over, he's the head coach, brings Barry with him. He was the offensive line coach that year. And Chuck Fairbanks was on the staff too. And there were 2 games that year in '66, Barry had mentioned them, that we won that really set that program on a path to conference championships and recruiting great players. And that was the Texas game. We hadn't beaten them in 8 years, and we beat them that year 18-9. Mike Bashan kicks 4 field goals, set a record. I'm not sure how long that record lasted. It lasted a long time, but we beat them that day. The next game that we played was the Nebraska game later in the fall. It was in Norman, national TV, Thanksgiving Day. Nebraska had already won the Big 8 championship. They're undefeated, and they were ranked number 4 in the nation. And we beat them that day 10-9. Eddie Hinton catches a 48-yard touchdown pass, and like he usually does, he went up between 2 defenders, catches the ball, and then outruns everybody for 48 yards, and we beat them 10-9. Those 2 games really set that program.
Go through the pass.
Set it on a path to winning conference championships.
I'm setting you up. I said, who threw the pass?
Who what? Oh, yeah. Oh, I threw the pass. Yeah, I figured you knew the group. I threw the pass. Well, anyway, I got to tell this story. After the Nebraska game, we got a great deal of confidence in beating them. So we go to Stillwater the next week, play OSU. You know, they beat OU like maybe once every 20 years. It's not very often that they beat OU. Well, they beat us the year before by 1 point. So we're going to Stillwater. We're not going to let them beat us again, right? They can't beat us 2 years in a row. And it was a cold Saturday afternoon. They pretty much had the best of us for most of 3 quarters, and we finally are making a drive. We get down to the 2-yard line. 1st and goal on the 2. We got to score a touchdown to go ahead and hopefully preserve the win. It's 1st and goal on the 2. I'm in the huddle, and I look back to the sidelines to get the play. It's tailback off tackle. Okay, Ron Schatz is our tailback. He's a pretty good between the tackle runner. He runs up in there with some authority. No gain. 2nd and 10. We're back in the huddle, and I'm looking to the sideline to get the play. Tailback off tackle again. Now, I want to be clear that Barry Switzer was not calling the plays that year, okay? So we go up the line of scrimmage. I take the snap.
Run the fullback.
Hand it off to Shots, no gain. So now it's 3rd and go. Things are getting pretty tense. You know, we're back in the huddle. I look back to the sideline and get the play and tailback off tackle again. I did mention that Barry's not calling the plays, right? No gain. So it's 4th and 2. It's getting down to the nut cutting. We got to have a touchdown. And I look to the sideline, get the play. It's tailback off tackle again. Now keep in mind, I'm a skinny-ass sophomore quarterback, lucky to be starting from Ada, Oklahoma. And I'm beginning to think to myself, as we're going up to the line of scrimmage, I'm going to make a great fake to Ron Shots, put that ball on my hip, and I'm literally going to walk around the corner for a touchdown. So as I make the great fake to Shots and I give him that open hand like I just handed him the ball, and I watch him, I follow him through, the line, and he's in the end zone. And I'm thinking, oh, shit. Maybe I should have handed that ball off. So I look up, and there's an orange jersey right in my face. I get thrown for a loss. We lose the ball game, and I don't want to go to the sidelines because Jim McKenzie, like Barry was saying, he's a no-nonsense guy. He's a tough son of a gun. And so I'm making my way back to the sideline. I'm keeping my eye on him, and I see him. Here he comes. Oh my God. What's he going to do? And I get over there to the sideline. He grabs me, and he shakes me, and he said, "What the hell's wrong with you, Warmack? You trying to be the hero?" And I said, "Coach, I just wanted to get it in the end zone. I didn't care who scored, just wanted to get it in the end zone." And I learned a valuable lesson that day. If they were going to entrust me to be their quarterback moving forward, I was never going to contradict a call that the coaches made. So that was a tough lesson to learn, but it was a lesson that I did learn, and it never happened again.
All right, Mark Rogers.
All right, let me mention real quick too.
Yeah.
The next year in '67 was really the best year that we had. We had a great football team, and we had great players. And I'm going to mention a few names just so you can identify with them. We had Granville Liggins, All-American nose guard, played 14 years in Canadian football. Bob Kelsu, draft pick for the Buffalo Bills, All-American offensive tackle, was the rookie of the year for the Buffalo Bills. And then he was shipped off to Vietnam, and he was the only NFL football player killed in a Vietnam war.
And he didn't have to go. He got deferred like so many of the NFL players did.
Didn't have to go, but he did. He wanted to serve his country. And then Eddie Hinton, of course. Eddie was a great receiver. All I had to do was just throw it in the general vicinity, and Eddie's going to go get it. Number 1 draft pick, caught all of Johnny Unitas's passes, got Johnny Unitas into the Hall of Fame. And then we had 4 sophomores that year that were great football players. Steve Owens, who eventually won the Heisman. Steve Zabel, who could play any position on the field, tight end, defensive end, linebacker, punted. Just a great athlete, All-American.
6th player picked in the first round. He caught the pass that beat Kansas' ass at home. Sent us to the Orange Bowl.
Right. And then Kenny Mendenhall, center and offensive guard, played 10 years in the NFL, as did Zabel. And the last guy was Jimmy Files, played 5 years for the Giants. So we had those great players, but we had a lot of overachievers that year also. And so we go play Kansas late in the season, and this is the game that we had to win the Big 8 championship and to go on to the Orange Bowl. And Kansas had a pretty good team. They had NFL talent as well. They were a tough team. We knew we were going to be.
Bobby Douglas at quarterback.
Bobby Douglas at quarterback, played for Chicago Bears, had a tight end. Vernon Vanoy was their defensive end. Had a great team. Anyway, they had the most of us for 3.5 quarters. Our defense stops them. Kansas punts the ball, rolls dead on our 4-yard line. We have 96 yards to go in about 5 minutes. And back in those days, it took at least 7 or 8 minutes to drive the length of the field because 3 yards in a cloud of dust, you know. So I'm standing on the sidelines with Chuck Fairbanks, and I happen to look across the field, and I see Pepper Rogers, Kansas's coach, over there on the sideline. Looks like he had a big orange stain right in the middle of his shirt. Somebody must have chucked orange at him and hit him or something, I don't know. But he was tossing up an orange like, I know I've got this game won, not a problem. Once Barry calls the play down from the press box, Chuck agrees with him. He's a little jump pass to Zabel. So we're on a 4-yard line. That's a pretty risky play. We get in there, throw a little jump pass to Zabel. He gets it out to the 20-yard line. Then we start feeding Steve Owens the ball. Steve Owens and Ron Schatz alternated that year at tailback, but Ron Schatz was in during that series. And then Eddie catches a pass for a good gain. We keep feeding the ball to Owens. We get the ball down to the 30-yard line. And about less than a minute to go in the ball game, and Kansas is up 10-7. We got to score. Barry makes the phone call, or the call, slide left 24. That was a fake to Steve Owens off left tackle and set up and a throwback to Steve Zabel deep down the sideline. And as I faked the ball to Owens, I looked and I saw Zabel going deep, and all I had to do is just get him the football. But Steve likes to call this play the old shit play. And the reason for that is when he comes off the line of scrimmage, you know, that defensive back near him, you know, first of all, didn't think would throw the football. Secondly, he didn't think Steve would go deep, or at least he didn't have any concern about Steve going deep. And about that time, Steve blows by him. He said he heard that defensive back say, "Oh, shit." And about that time, Steve looks up and sees the ball coming his way, and he says, "Oh, shit." Well, he catches the ball in the end zone, touchdown. We beat Kansas 14-10. We won a conference. We go play Tennessee in the Orange Bowl, number 2 team in the nation. And that ended our junior year, which really was a great season for us.
Thanks, Bob.